So, good morning, children. Today we are going to, for the last part of the chapter, Nationalism in Europe. And last day we concluded, or we came to an end with German unification. Last day we came to an end with German unification. Today we are having a summary of German unification. Then we will go to the unification of Britain. And let me ask you something which is related with the last year textbook. And in last year textbook we have studied that the name of the German parliament is Reichstag. So what is the name of the German parliament? The name of the German parliament is Reichstag. And if you look at Germany, it has also a history of political fragmentation. Germany was not in a unified state all over its history. Germany was not in a unified situation throughout its history. So politically, Germany was also in a divided way. Politically, Germany was also in a divided way. Many rulers ruled many parts of Germany during different contexts. Many rulers ruled different parts of Germany in different contexts. We studied about Germany. We are looking into Italy. Italy has also a long history of political fragmentation. Italy has also a long history of political fragmentation. Many rulers ruled Italy during its course of time, and Italians were included under several rulers or several dynastic rulers. They ruled Italy in different times, and a multinational Habsburg Empire was controlling some part of Italy. 19th century, Italy was divided into how many states? 7 states. Or Italy was fragmented in 19th century, and it was in 7 different rulers. And out of these 7 different rulers, only one was ruled by an Italian princely house, or only one was under the control of an Italian language speaking ruler. And in the central part of the Italy, it was ruled by Pope, and south was Bourbon kings of Spain. So this is the political fragmentation of Italy. This is the political fragmentation of Italy during 19th century. Who ruled which part? That we want to understand. Who ruled which part? Part? How many states? 7 princely states. Who ruled which part? And if you look at Italian language in the middle of the 19th century, if you look at Italian language in the middle of the 19th century, if you look at this language also, it has many regional local variations. So what is the situation of Italian language during the 19th century? Uniformity is absent in Italian language during 19th century. Uniformity is absent in Italian language during 19th century. Then who put a detailed program? For the unitary Italy, or in order to unify Italy? Who put a detailed program? It is Giuseppe Mazzini. Name the person who put a detailed program for unification of Italy. It is Giuseppe Mazzini. And what is the name of the secret society or secret organization which was formed by Giuseppe Mazzini? And it is Young Italy. Why does he try to form a secret society? In order to fulfill its goals. Then what is his goals? Unification of Italy. Unification of Italy is his goal. Whose goal? Giuseppe Mazzini's goal. Giuseppe Mazzini's goal. He tried to form a unified Italy. So in order to fulfill his goal, he created a secret society called a Young Italy. 2 times he had a revolution, 1831 and 1848. Now he was arrested, he was jailed, etc., etc. happened. He was arrested, he was jailed, etc., etc. happened. The idea to unify Italy, or Mandel now fell on idea to unify Italy, fall on Sardinia, Piedmont. That's a region that's among these 7 states. And its ruler was King Victor Emmanuel II. He tried to unify this Italian state through war. He attacked the neighboring rulers. He began to unify all these 7. He began to unify all these 7 states. And this is what happened. This is what happened. And why does King Victor Emmanuel II Why does King Victor Emmanuel II try to unify Italian states? Because there is a possibility of economic development, there is a possibility of political dominance. There are 2 reasons why King Victor Emmanuel II is trying to unify Italy. In order to get political dominance in that region, in order to get economically grow up or improve the standard of living of the country is a reason why King Victor Emmanuel and his colleagues is interested to unify Italy. And if you look at the unification of Italy, who led the unification? King Victor Emmanuel has attacked. Then who led the unification? And this unification was led by Chief Minister Cavour. What was his philosophies, or what was the basic philosophies that he followed? He is not a revolution. He is not interested to attack. He is not interested to attack the neighboring countries like the ruler Napoleon Bonaparte. But he is not so soft. That is what is called as Democrat. He is neither a revolutionary nor a Democrat. And if you look at Chief Minister Count Cavour, he used which language? French. That is one important point that we must understand. A person coming to unify a country speaks French better than Italian. A person coming to unify Italy speaks which language better than Italian? French better than Italian. He had a good diplomatic alliance with France, or with the help of France, through a good diplomatic alliance, he succeeded in defeating Austrian forces in 1859. So Austria-Hungary was controlling some regions of Italy. So with the help of France only he is able to win that war. Apart from these large regular troops, armed volunteers under the leadership of Giuseppe Garibaldi also joined this incident. Armed regular army plus volunteers also under the leadership of Giuseppe Garibaldi has also joined this incident. Who is this Giuseppe Garibaldi? He is the leader of the volunteers who tried to unify Italy. And he marched into 2 Sicilies in order to support local, drive out the Spanish rulers. So 2 Sicilies With the help of the peasants, local peasants, he moved out the Spanish rulers from there. He moved out the Spanish rulers. So Spain was controlling two Sicilies, and these two Sicilies were taken back with the help of the local peasants, with the help of the local peasants, with the help of the local peasants. However, so in 1861, he proclaimed himself as the United King of United Italy, or King Victor Emmanuel II. At that time, there was one problem for the Italian population. The problem is they are illiterate. They are not able to read and write. And they were not able to know what is this liberal nationalist ideology, or what is this nation state, what is the importance of forming a definite predetermined territorial country. What is the reason for it? And when the peasants, they support Giuseppe Garibaldi in the southern Italy, they thought that La Italia is whose wife? King Victor Emmanuel's wife. So when the peasants supported Giuseppe Garibaldi, when the peasants used that words, they thought that La Italia is whose wife? King Victor Emmanuel II's wife. Why does they think like that? Because they are illiterate. They doesn't know what is happening in that region. They doesn't know what is happening in that in their region. So that is the unification of Italy. Next, we will go to the last unification. Which country's unification is this? This is the unification of Great Britain, a country which ruled almost decades India. And what happened into that country? So at that time, when scholars says that give an example for a nation state, they gave an example of Great Britain. Give an example for a good nation state with a good bureaucracy, good territory, defined territorial boundaries, good army, good administration, and they gave example for a Great Britain at that time. So the formation of a nation state, if you look at the formation of nation state in Great Britain, it is not a sudden upheaval or a revolution. If you look at the formation of a nation state in France, it happened as a result of the revolution. In Italy, it has happened as a result of wars, etc., etc., etc. Likewise, if you look at the formation of nation state in Great Britain, it is not a part of sudden incidents or a revolution. There is a long, lengthy process which led to the formation of Great Britain. There is a long, lengthy process which led to the formation of Great Britain. And prior to the 18th century, you can't see a country called as British nation. 18th century back, that is what I am speaking. 18th century back. You can't find a country which you say that you claim that this is a British nation, this is the territory, and etc., etc. You can't find such a country. You can't find such a country before 18th century. And there are people in British Isles. In this present British region, there are people prior 18th century. There are English people, Welsh people, Scottish or Irish people. So these group of ethnic communities, they lived in Britain prior the 18th century. You can't find a definite country, then you call it as Great Britain prior 18th century. But the English people or the English nation, they began to gradually grow in terms of wealth, power. They began to influence their identity towards neighboring islands. They began to capture the neighboring islands. They began to establish their dominance. So prior to the 18th century, you can't find a British or Great Britain. You are able to see some ethnic communities, they lived in the present British region. They may be English people, Welsh or Scottish or Irish people. But the English people, they gradually began to grow up. In 1688, you must remember that year. In 1688, what happened in Britain? You must remember that year. Year ശരിക്കും ഓർമ്മ വേണം. 1688. English Parliament took the power from the king through a systematic conflict which led to the formation of nation states. English Parliament, they took the power or from the monarch or from the rulers in a conflict, after a conflict, and which led to the formation of nation states. So in the year 1688, you must remember, in the year 1688, what happened in Britain is the English Parliament, they, through a systematic conflict arrangement, took the power from the monarchical style of government. Then you must remember the Act of Union of 1707. According to the Act of Union of 1707 between England and Scotland. According to the Act of Union of 1707 between England and Scotland, it led to the formation of United Kingdom of Great Britain. So Act of Union of 1707 is very important because English community or English speaking regions and Scottish people, they came together. It led to the formation of Great Britain, and it means that England was able to impose influence over Scotland. So according to Act of Union 1707, English community, they are having some type of control over the Scottish people. The English Parliament was dominated by English members, but the Scottish people, they began to think that their culture will sometimes be destroyed or suppressed. So this is what is happening in Great Britain. You must remember the year 1688, Act of Union of 1707. So according to Act of Union of 1707, a new country is formed. United Kingdom of Great Britain is formed. And in the British Parliament, which members were dominated? English members were dominated. Scottish language, Welsh, Irish, no, they are not dominating. English member. And Scottish people, they began to think that their culture will be sometimes destroyed, their culture will be sometimes suppressed. So the clans or the large landowners of the Catholic clans, they suffered terrible depression, and whenever they tried to get independence from the English community, they are suppressed a lot. The Scottish clans, they are not allowed to speak Gaelic language. or to wear their national dress. Or Scottish culture was destroyed by English people, English culture. English culture was attacking Scottish culture, and Scottish people, they are not permitted to use their regional language or regional dress, or a large number of Scottish people were forcibly moved out of their homeland. Next, some about the similar neighboring country, Ireland. If you look at Ireland, there was two religious sets in Ireland. That is the Catholics and Protestants. So, if you look at Ireland, next towards the Scotland, there are two religious sets within Christianity, that is Catholics and Protestants. The English helped the Protestants, and the English helped the Protestants to get dominance over the Catholics. Ireland is largely a Catholic country. In order to get dominance, the English people, they helped the Protestants. There was Catholic revolts against British dominance in Ireland, and at last, Ireland was forcibly incorporated in the UK in 1801. In 1801, Ireland was, by using force, Ireland was annexed into Europe. And there was a revolt which was done by Wolfe Tone and his United Irishmen in 1708. This revolt was suppressed. It was a failed revolt. And after that revolt, Ireland was connected towards Britain by using force. You must remember it. And a new British nation was created, Union Jack as British flag, God save our noble king, English language, everything was promoted there. So, formation of Britain, you want to remember about two countries. The incident which happens in Scotland, incident which happens in Ireland. You must remember about the year 1688, I think so. The king, which has, or from the hands of the king, power was transferred into the hands of the constitutionally arranged parliament. And the Scottish clans of the Highlands, they are not permitted to use their regional language, and they are not permitted to use their regional dress. And Ireland also suffered the same problem. Catholics, Protestants are the two religious sects within Christianity in Ireland. Ireland is largely a Catholic country, but Britain is largely a Protestant. English community, they held the Protestants in order to get dominance over the Catholics, but there was Catholic revolts in many places against Britain, and these revolts were suppressed. These revolts were suppressed by the Protestants with the help of English. There was a failed revolt by a parson. You must remember about the person's name. His name is Wolfe Tone, and his group, his society, we call it a society or revolutionary group called as United Irishmen. And later in 1801, by using force, Ireland was connected towards Britain, and later a Great Britain or a new British nation was created, in which Union Jack as the British flag, God save our noble king as the national anthem of the Britain. And English language were actively propagated, and older nations who were connected with the English was suppressed there. Next, a writer is trying to visualize a nation. You may be familiar with a visualization due to Malayalam films, where when you see a law or when you see a judge, you are able to see a statue in front of the judge, and that is a visualization of a law. The law is whosoever, the law is not partial. That shows that I think that shows that law is not partial. It is equal to all of you. That is a visualization. That is a visualization of law. When we speak about India or Hindustan, when you speak about India or Hindustan, we say that it is a Bharat Mata, but it's some piece of land which is under the control of some people. Only that much, but we visualize it in the form of a particular object. When you speak about Bharat Mata or mother, we love our mother at the most, right? Everyone likes mother at the most. So when you speak that it is our mother, we all will die for our motherland. That is the visual, that is the concept that you must understand this concept, then go through this part. Then only you will be able to know what is included there. So visualization of nation. Nation is expressed in some portraits. Or nation is expressed through some images. Image. Nation is expressed through some images. That is called, we call it as visualization of nation. And if you want to explain who is the ruler, you are able to explain that ruler with the help of a portrait or with the help of a good beautiful picture. You can say that this is your ruler. But in 18th century, you must remember it, but in which centuries, 18th, 19th centuries, nations began to be personified. Nations began to be formed as images, as good pictures. And personifying of a nation is happened in 18th century and in 19th century, in which figures nations were portrayed. Nations were portrayed in a female figure. And what are the things that is not included in the textbook? What are the things that we get from the mother? What are the things that we get from the mother in our real life? Or nations can be explained in such a way that what the mother gives us, what the mother gives us is equal to what a country gives us. So, particular woman in real life, or the abstract idea of nation is given in a concrete form by personification. So female figures became an allegory of the nation. Or when you want to represent a nation, we are explaining it in female figures, or female figures is explained. Female figures is explained as an example for a nation. So, nation can be explained in female figures. So, when you explain the concept of nation, nation is explained in such a way in which what the mother gives us to us, what the mother gives us to us, nation is giving that things to us. So nations are explained in female figures. And if you look at the French Revolution, when was this French Revolution? French Revolution was in 1789. You are able to see that the three pillars of French Revolution, such as liberty, justice, and republic, is explained with the help of a female figure. When you say French Revolution, the three figures, liberty, justice, and republic, is explained with the help of female allegory. These ideals, which ideas? Liberty, equality, and justice. Liberty, justice, and liberty. These ideals are represented either through an object. This is an object. So either through an object, either through symbols. You know a triangle in which an eye is inside that, I think you remember it, which says that an eye shows the knowledge. And you note the snake biting its tail, that's a ring, which shows that there is no end or no beginning. That is the sculpture which is used by the rulers. So these specific objects are used to represent ideals. If you look at liberty, it is used by representing a red cap or a broken chain. Or if a slave uses a red cap, that shows that he is getting freedom from his master. Or a broken chain, while justice is blindfolded woman carrying a pair of weighing scales. So justice is seen as a woman which is carrying weighing scales. So with the help of these images, particular definite ideas are explained towards the society. Particular definite ideas are explained towards society. So we spoke about French Revolution in this context. The liberty, justice, and republic was explained with the help of female figures. Specific objects were used to explain the abstract or concrete ideas. Specific objects. If you look at the snake biting its tail, that ring that you remember in the class 9 textbook, shows that there is no beginning nor end. Which is look at the rod which is in the hands of the ruler, which shows that power. And when we use symbols such as the flying dove, it shows that peace. White dove, no black. So that shows that peace. So likewise, definite ideas were explained towards illiterate population with the help of some figures. You know the justice which is included, which said by me earlier. The justice is explained by a blindfolded woman carrying weight and scales in his hand. In the 19th century, in the France is it was Christine Marine in France. So in the France it is Christine Marine, which was used in the 19th century. Her characters, a red cap, tricolor cockade, so which shows that liberty. So similar allegories were invented in the 19th century. In France it was Christine Marine, and which got the idea as a people's nation, which got her character. If you look at her characters, she used a liberty, a republic with the help of a red cap, a tricolor, a cockade, and statues of Christine Marine were kept in all public places. And in coins, stamps, her identity was explained. So, what is the name of the female allegory which was created in France? It is a Christian name. It is Christine Marine. And the idea of a definite nation is explained with the help of Christine Marine. The idea of a definite nation is explained with Christine Marine. So, statues of Christine Marine was kept in all places. Coins, stamps, etc. was also included. Christine Marine's images, which says that definite nation. In Germany, it was Germania. Or German nation was also portrayed with the help of a female figure. German nation was also explained towards the illiterate population with a female figure. And Germania were oak leaves, the picture that you see on the screen. German oak stands for heroism. So if you look at if you see this German oak says that you are a hero. You are a hero. So in France, it is Christine Marine. In Germany, it is Germania. What are the features of Germania? She used a crown of oak leaves. And German oak leaves stands for heroism. German oak leaves stands for heroism. And Germania, Philip Waite in 1848, hang from the ceiling of. So this is a one-word question. We can take it as a one-word. I am marking it on the screen. The picture of Germania, which was painted by Philip Waite in 1848, was used in the Frankfurt Parliament. Used to hang from the Frankfurt Parliament. That what is allegory? New words that you want to study. So it is an when an abstract idea is explained with a person or thing, that we call it as allegory. When an abstract idea is explained with the help of a thing, we call it as allegory. Next page, I need to look. Fallen Germania. Whose picture is Fallen Germania? Julius Hubner, 1850s, is the picture of Fallen Germania. Then one more thing. Artist Lawrence Claeson's painting Germania, or German sword protect German Rhine. What is this Rhineland? I think you remember it. It is the industrially concentrated region in Germany, which was taken by Allies after the First World War. And nationalism and imperialism, last part, nationalism and imperialism. You know what is nationalism? Feeling in the mind that my country is the best country, I am proud to be an Indian, that we call it as nationalism. That we call it as nationalism. And how does this image, or how does we are proud to be an Indian when our country has attacked the neighboring country, has won? When you remember that incident, Abhinandan Vartaman, a pilot, was captured by Pakistan, and our government said that we are not interested to have a talk. We are not interested to have a talk. We want our boy back. No discussion. That time we feel that our leaders are bold. Our country is the best. Our country is the best country. Likewise, that feeling is called as nationalism. I want to explain that feeling, that feeling is called as nationalism. Feeling love towards the country can be called as nationalism. This is created through different ways in schools. National anthem in schools, pledge, etc. is created, and this through this a feeling of national feeling will be created. A national feeling will be created. That is called as national. Recently in theaters also, national anthem is supposed to be played. It led to some controversies, etc., etc., etc. So, in order to create a feeling of nation, love towards a nation, that is, we call it as nationalism. Next one hard word, that is called as imperialism. Some countries during 1918, some countries began to grow very fast in terms of economic aspects. Some countries began to grow in terms of industrial aspects, etc., etc. For example, English nation or Great Britain began to grow very fast. Industrialization happened in the first on the landscape of Britain. English country began to dominate. Dutch people began to, European countries, French people began to grow. They began to come to weak countries. They began to capture them as colonies. They began to, I am saying it in simple English. I think you remember it. They began to capture weak countries as colonies. And why they captured weak countries as colonies? Because why they captured as weak countries as colonies? Because they wanted to use the economic benefit of that weak country. They either wanted to use the raw materials, either wanted to use the minerals, wealth, money, etc. Or capturing a weak country by a powerful country in pursuit of economic benefit, we call it as imperialism. In pursuit of economic benefit, we call it as imperialism. And during the first quarter of the 19th century, liberal democratic ideas doesn't exist. Nationalist groups, they began to, or they are ready to go for a war. That is the first World War. And European powers, they tried to dominate. European powers, they tried to dominate the world. European powers, they tried to dominate their world. They tried to dominate the world by using imperialistic aims. They have their own ideas. They have their own ideas. For their own ideas, they began to capture weak countries. For economic benefit, they began to capture economic benefit. They began to capture weak. The economic benefit, they began to capture weak countries. So we studied a new idea, that is imperialism. Taking a weak country by a powerful country is called as an imperialism. And during the first half of the 1819 centuries, these nationalistic groups, they are ready for a war, and European powers, they tried to manipulate their aspirations for the subject people not to get economic benefit. Anyway, thank you children, to meet you this day.